We're looking at cow 219 today. She had an incredibly sore back right foot because of toe necrosis. The inside of her foot was dying and decaying. So we're back 4 weeks later after this initial trim to see what the results are.
And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you.
4 weeks ago we visited this cow, cow 219, and as you can see she had an incredibly bad case of toe necrosis. In other words, the interior portion of her foot was actually rotting away. So we set about making sure that the inner claw was nice and level and stable, and then we affixed 2 blocks to that inner claw so that we can lift the sore affected outer claw completely off the ground and hopefully relieve this poor girl of some pain. Once that was done, we set about the task of removing all of the loose, sharp, jagged and raggedy horn away from round about the lesion, which as you can see was no easy task. This lesion is incredibly big and incredibly painful, and despite us not actually cutting into the live flesh, even working in the vicinity of it caused the problem to bleed. So we were as careful as we could, but inevitably there was a lot of blood, and as you can see, an awful lot of protruding flesh. So we did our best to clean up the foot, doused it with iodine and wrapped it with salicylic acid to kill the infection. Then we let her go, and she was walking really well. I was properly proud of this cow because she was bearing all of her weight on those 2 blocks. For me, on this first trim, it was mission accomplished.
She's back. Let's see how she's doing.
So fast forward 4 weeks and we're back at the same farm, and we have cow 219 back in the crush. First things first though, we make sure her back left foot is still in perfect order before moving on to the back right and seeing the fruits of our labour. Once we've got our foot in the air, I'm very happy to see that Bovibond has done its thing, and both blocks are still in place, making sure this cow is as pain-free as possible. So we get the foot washed off and get a much better look at how this trim has turned out. So the last time we trimmed cow 219, she had a huge lump of flesh sticking out the front of her toe, and we completely soaked it with iodine with the hope and intention of it shrivelling up and dying off. Now as you can see, the lump of flesh is still there, but to a far lesser degree. It has shriveled up and it has retracted. So I am really pleased with these results. Yes, this foot is definitely far from healing and far from being completely sound, but she does not have that huge bulbous piece of flesh sticking out the front of her foot, causing her all of that pain. But she does still have some flesh there, and we are not allowed to cut it off. I'm brushing against it with the back of my knife, and that is aggravating it and causing it to bleed. But as you're just about to see, there is still plenty of loose horn that needs to be removed if we're ever to fully make sure this cow recovers. Clearly the main issue is at her toe, but this loose horn which forms a cavity behind it and allows dirt in is also causing its own source of pain. Imagine walking along with little lumps of gravel and mud in your shoe. It's not comfortable at all. Anyway, we continue the trim and make sure that all of the hoof horn is completely removed. And when I remove my hand here, you'll see it really is starting to clean up. I have every hope and every faith that we are going to completely heal this cow's foot, but it is going to take a few revisits. With cows like 219, perseverance is the name of the game, and we have just re-soaked our foot with iodine with the aim of encouraging new horn to grow and form over that lesion, to sterilise the area and to allow it to dry out. We've applied a bandage so that that iodine really has time to soak in to the skin cells, and we're going to revisit her again in 4 weeks' time.
That's all, folks.